the uncanny astronomical precision of the Sun Temple at Modhera, built in the golden age of Indian mathematics.
That's when ideas are being produced that will travel around the world and alter the entire global perception of astronomy and astrology. And it's this sort of thing which is being reflected in the architecture at Modhera.
Even before the earliest Vedas were compiled, over 3,500 years ago, ancient Indians were studying the heavens, passing knowledge down orally. They studied the movement of celestial bodies to understand the rhythms of life on Earth. A 1,000-year-old building serves as proof of their understanding of the universe. Dawn of the spring equinox. The Earth leans neither towards nor away from the sun. Day and night are of equal duration. In the village of Modhera in Gujarat, an incredible chain of events begins. The first rays of light align exactly with the entrance mandap of the Sun Temple. The light passes through the mandap and into the second chamber, the Garbhagriha, or the Sanctum Sanctorum. 1,000 years ago, a beam of light from the rising sun would have fallen exactly on the idol of Surya Dev, the temple's resident deity.
Modhera is very intriguing because it's not just that it's a temple devoted to the sun god. It's actually almost like a celebration of early Indian knowledge of astronomy.
The sun was worshipped in India for millennia as the dispeller of darkness and the source of life. Modhera's temple design pays tribute to the Lord of Light. Ancient architecture was based on Vedic principles to please the gods and ensure good fortune for the residents. Vastu Shastra and later texts guided temple design. In these texts, geometry, geography, astronomy, and astrology played a vital role.
Indian astronomy was always strongly linked to Indian astrology. In ancient India, astrology was regarded as a science related to astronomy, which states could use with great effect. Not just weddings, but all the events of state would be determined by your understanding of the stars.
Across the ancient world, ideas on mathematics, astronomy, and astrology were exchanged and developed. Some of the most significant concepts were to emerge in India. About 100 kilometers from Ahmedabad, Modhera is almost exactly on the Tropic of Cancer. The location was obviously chosen for catching the direct rays of sunlight on specific days of the year. Here, on the banks of the Pashupati River, King Bhimdev I Solanki built the temple to Surya, presumably in 1027. His clan called themselves Surya Vanshi, the descendants of Surya. Today, the Sun Temple is listed by the United Nations as a World Heritage Site. The temple is built of sandstone, brought from over 100 kilometers away. The soft stone allowed sculptors to achieve great detail in the dazzling array of carvings that adorn every surface. Deities, scenes from Hindu mythology, images of life in those times, and God. Facing east, the complex is divided into 3 parts, all perfectly aligned. At the eastern end is the Surya Kund, a step well. Then the Sabha Mandap, an assembly or dance hall. Finally, the Garbhagriha, sacred inner chamber that housed the idol of Surya Dev. It is likely that the construction of the Sun Temple was influenced by important Indian texts on astronomy, written centuries before the temple was built. In particular, the Surya Siddhant, believed by some to have been written by the great mathematician, astronomer and poet Aryabhat, 1500 years ago. According to it, the Earth takes 365 days, 6 hours and 12 minutes to go around the Sun. That's remarkably close to modern-day calculations made with all the tech available today. Scholars believe that units of time found their way into temple architecture. The Sun Temple's Sabha Mandap has 52 pillars, representing 52 weeks in a year. 12 statues of Surya for the 12 months of a year. Surya's chariot is driven by 7 horses, perhaps representing the days in a week. And the Garbhagriha's 24 pillars stand for the hours in a day. The Surya Kund contains 108 small shrines. According to scholars, 108 is a significant number in Vedic cosmology, with its own share of mystery. The diameter of the Sun is 108 times the diameter of Earth. The distance from the Sun to Earth is 108 times the diameter of the Sun. The distance from the Earth to the Moon is 108 times the diameter of the Moon. Thousands of years ago, ancient Indians were cracking the codes of the cosmos.
It is Aryabhatta in the 5th century who comes up with the idea of a spherical Earth rotating on its own axis. He even calculates the circumference of the Earth.
Aryabhatta also authored one of the most enlightening works of its time, the Aryabhatiya. Written in Sanskrit verse, it remained unknown to the Western world for a millennium. Apart from concepts of arithmetic, trigonometry, and algebra, Aryabhatiya speaks of the Earth's rotation, explains solar and lunar eclipses, and hints at the idea of heliocentricity, of how the Earth and planets revolve around the Sun. It also describes the luminosity of the Moon and planets as a reflection of sunlight. His ideas were developed further by other scholars.
The greatest work on astronomy and astrology in the era just before the building of the Modhera Sun Temple is produced by a scholar called Brahmagupta.
Building on Aryabhatta's world-changing decimal system based on the idea of zero or shunya, Brahmagupta provided rules for the application of zero and other mathematical principles. It was the ancient beginning of modern-day counting and mathematics. His hypotheses were adopted by the Arabs and in time spread further west. In his 7th century writings, Brahmagupta calculated the position of the planets and stars. Centuries before Isaac Newton spoke of gravity, Brahmagupta described a force of attraction that causes objects to fall to Earth.
And so this area was then like, the leading IIT, like the NASA. That's when ideas are being produced that will travel around the world and alter the entire global perception of astronomy and astrology. And it's this sort of thing which is being reflected in the architecture at Modhera.
Modhera Sun Temple is more than a marvel of art and science. It is a reminder of the starring role that ancient Indian ideas played in shaping a modern world.